Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me for a visit to Indiana Dunes National Park, which is located in the state of Indiana on the southern shores of Lake Michigan. We'll get started right away with a quick peek around the visitor center. You'll notice suspended from the roof there are some gliders or flyers. Those are recreations of flyers created by Octave Chanute, and he actually was an early aviation pioneer that lent his design to the Wright brothers, and he conducted flight experiments here among the dunes. We're going to head into West Beach and we're going to get right into the park summary. Indiana Dunes National Park was established in 2019 by President Donald Trump. Previously, the location was designated as a national lakeshore back in 1966.
Okay, I was actually just about to do that the wrong way because he told me to do it clockwise. So now we're getting started going clockwise.
Got a little turned around there, sorry about that. Continuing the summary, the park sees about 2.7 million visitors, and it can get busy here on the weekends and during the summertime. The park features a collection of tall dunes around the shoreline of Lake Michigan, in addition to some unique ecosystems, and there's some historic buildings as well. For wildlife in this video, I do have some pygmy goats for you, so you want to stick around for them because they are adorable, and you need to be aware of ticks and check yourself for those if you visit the park. For weather, the best time to visit the park is going to be from May to September, especially if you want to go for a swim. That would be a little hard in the winter time due to the lake freezing and lake effect snow. And finally, for cell service, you should have full coverage throughout the park. Before we continue on, let's take a look at the map of the national park, which you can see resides between Michigan City and Gary, Indiana, with the Port of Indiana there in the middle. And I'll talk a little bit more about Indiana Dunes State Park here in just a moment. We opened at the Indiana Dunes Visitor Center. Next, we're going to hike the Dune Succession Trail over here at West Beach. Then we'll stop at the Tolleston Dunes Overlook for a peek at that unique landscape, followed by visiting the Portage Lakefront and Riverwalk for some more views of the Great Lake. Then we'll travel to the Baldy Homestead and Chellberg Farm, and finally we'll end the video with an amazing sunset from Mount Baldy Beach. You definitely want to stick around for that one. Now we do have a two-parter, and in the second video we'll explore the Dune Ridge and Great Marsh trails here, along with the 1933 Century Progress homes, before completing the 3-Dune Challenge in Indiana Dunes State Park. Now, before we leave the map, I do have to mention Gary, Indiana. Gary is a city with a lot of challenges. If you do want to go there to maybe visit Michael Jackson's boyhood home or something like that, make sure you do that during the daytime and be careful. You need to exercise situational awareness at all times in that city. And now let's get back to the hike and continue along the Dune Succession Trail.
This trail may be closed, I'm not sure. Okay, trail was not closed, just signage, could have been a little bit more descriptive. So we made it onto this boardwalk, and let's continue with the Dune Ascension Trail. Now, I think I should have done this counterclockwise, because I think the guy told me to do it the easy way, and, I appreciate all that, but although at this point we're short on time, so we can't backtrack. Anyways, let's go.
You can see there are quite a few stairs on this trail, but it does lead to some pretty good views of the dunes and Lake Michigan.
So now we're passing through kind of a woodsy area. This is alright, this trail's okay. I'm going to have sand all in my shoes, but that's what washing machines are for. Okay, so we'll take a quick look at the Tolleston Dunes Overlook here. Gotta pick it up, it's getting late in the day.
Now down the road a little bit is the parking lot for the Tolleston Dunes Trail, which does involve hiking and some loose sand, and to tell you the truth, I really didn't do this one justice just stopping by the Overlook. The black oak savanna there is an extremely rare ecosystem, and if you visit here, I definitely recommend actually going on the hike.
Okay, so that was the Tolleston Dunes Overlook there. Maybe I'm shortchanging that trail, but we got to keep it moving because I definitely want to go on the highest dune, or tallest dune. Okay, so now we're at the Portage Lakefront and Riverwalk. There's the pavilion there. And that's a steel factory.
Now, I have my reservations about swimming in any water that's next to a steel factory or where you can see a power plant cooling tower in the distance, but apparently the lifeguards here will put out flags to let you know if the water is safe or not. Do with that what you may. This area of the park is more of a recreation area. You have the pavilion there, and when I was visiting here, there was an imminent government shutdown awaiting at midnight, and I had no idea if the park was going to be open the next day, so I was trying to move as quickly through all the park highlights as best I could. Leaving the pavilion, we're now going to head over to the Bailey Homestead, which was named after Joseph Bailey, who was the first European settler in this region.
Okay, now let's check out this old house.
This house was the Bailey Homestead, and in his day, Joseph Bailey was a very successful and famous fur trader. Now, Bailey passed away in 1835 and is buried in a nearby family cemetery at the Chellberg Farm. His homestead here is a National Historic Landmark, and the Park Service uses the structures here to give you a sense of what life was like during Bailey's time. Leaving the homestead here, I thought we were running out of daylight, but you'll see I made a common traveling mistake.
Well, this is going to be one of the more embarrassing van life moments here. So that says 5:49 p.m. That's Eastern time. We're in Central time. So I thought the sun was going to set in like 30 minutes. I was like, it's a little high. But anyway, so now we can take our time a little bit more, hit a few more areas. All right. So, whew, I'm tired, man. And I guess, you know, your judgment lapses when you get exhausted, but working hard for you guys. So if you've enjoyed this video so far, I appreciate it so much of you. Please give me a like. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more videos, and turn on the bell for notifications. Thank you so much, and let's continue with the video.
Yes, you always got to remember with traveling, you need to keep track of your current time zone. And now, since I realized we had more time before sunset, let's head on over to the Chellberg Farm.
Maple syrup. Then maybe they weren't doing some moonshining up in there too. Who knows? Okay, so this is a Chell. So the house is the Bailey Homestead, and this is the Chellberg Farm. And this better not be the other end of where I was at, because otherwise I could have just walked. Anyways, let's see what's up.
Yeah, I don't buy that they were just making maple syrup here back in these woods. The Chellberg Farm here was settled by Swedish immigrants who left Chicago following the Great Chicago Fire of 1871.
Hey, we got some goats and some chickens over here. Some cows. Quiet. What about over here, huh? What y'all crying about? Huh? Nah, I ain't gonna give you nothing. I ain't gonna give you nothing. You look like Black Vicar. guy right here, he looks like Black Jacob from The Witch.
Maybe I'm a cynical guy, but I always assume the domesticated animals in national parks are pretty well cared for, so I'm not going to give these guys any food. You're okay. We do also have some very healthy looking chickens over here by the chicken coop. I really appreciate that the national park maintains these historic districts, as they really are a good way to get a glimpse of the past, and you're able to get a good understanding of how people used to live many generations ago. You can see the sun's getting low, so now let's head over to our final stop here at Mount Baldy. At 123 feet tall, Mount Baldy is the highest dune in the national park proper, and that's going to bring us into the recommendation and top tips for Indiana Dunes National Park. In the distance, you'll see there is the NIPSCO coal power plant. It's not nuclear, it's coal. Now, Indiana Dunes is worth a stop if you are visiting the city of Chicago or passing through the area. However, I don't feel like this park is a destination park, and I don't think it should be labeled as a national park either, and that is a sentiment that's shared by the National Park Service, surprisingly. The park superintendent at the time actually advocated against the designation as a national park because they wanted to keep the National Lakeshore designation, which was more consistent with the land features and recreational opportunities here and with the other national lake shores rather than iconic national parks. But the president and Congress saw otherwise. For top tips, as we look at Mount Baldy here, when I was visiting, you weren't able to climb the dune. However, I understand now you can go on some ranger-led hikes to the top. Now, Indiana Dunes State Park is surrounded by the national park, and there is the 3 Dune Challenge, which is a challenging but rewarding hike, and I definitely recommend it. Admission is $15, and in the next video, I'll show you all about the state park, so definitely recommend that. Second, in order to fully explore the park, I think you need 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 days for the national park, and then you only really need 1 day for the state park for the Dune Challenge. For sunset, you're going to see here in just a moment as to why Mount Baldy Beach is the best place for that. And finally, for boondocking, Indiana Dunes is one of the few national parks where you are able to boondock at the visitor center. Just go inside and speak to a ranger and they'll get you all set up. And please do not abuse that privilege. Now, with all that said, I appreciate you so much for sticking with me this far in the video. Let's check out the amazing sunset here.
Okay, so that's going to do it for Indiana Dunes National Park. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to check out this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.